What up, words? Your boy Chuck Wick, aka Charles Brown, back again for another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified on all the upcoming episodes. Man, I love all this Wu-Tang resurgence, man. A lot of stories that we may or may not have known are coming out because Vlad and Vlad TV are interviewing Wu heads like Raekwon and the original guy that signed the Wu in the first place, Steve Rifkin, the guy that believed in him and built Loud from the ground up on the backs of Wu-Tang. And he gave them that amazing deal that they could do solo deals and still have their group contract intact, which no one had ever done in the record industry. And to which he said, when Vlad asked him why did he do that deal, he said because he could and it was necessary. And when Vlad asked him why other record labels didn't do it, he said because they're greedy. And it's true, they're greedy. They want everything out of you. They want to drain you, right? But the thing that I found fascinating with this new interview, they both talked about it, Raekwon and Steve Rifkin, that Raekwon originally wanted to name Only Built for Cuban Links. He wanted to call it Wu Gambinos, right? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Steve Rifkin is Italian, if I'm not mistaken. And Steve Rifkin's dad is major in that world some kind of way, right? And somehow, some way, the word got back before Ray dropped his solo album calling it Wu Gambinos. It got back to the real Gambino family, and Steve Rifkin says his dad got a call from an affiliate in that family, and all he said was they're not too happy about that album title. And they request that you don't bring that album out with that title. So he said his dad got off the phone with that guy and called him and said, listen, I need to talk to you today. We got a problem. And he was like, you can't tell me over the phone? He was like, nah, I can't tell you over the phone. He's like, we need to sit down and I need to talk to you. So he said he knew it was serious. I believe he said they went up to, I don't know if he said the Poconos or wherever they went to. And they were already heading there anyway on a vacation. So he said that his dad got to him, they got face to face, and he said, so yeah, that thing with calling the Raekwon solo album Wu Gambinos, that can't happen. He's like, why? He's like, I got a call, and they're saying that can't happen. Now, if you don't know who the Gambinos are, that's a notorious mob family. That is the original gangsters, right? The Gambinos. All these movies are made about the Gambinos, all these different stories, all these write-ups in the newspaper, all these different documentaries are based around the mob and the mob and the Gambino crime family. It's a lot of stories, it's a lot of criminal activities around that family, and you don't want to play with them. So apparently he had to go tell Ray. And he said he sat down with Ray and said, yeah, that Wu Gambinos thing not going to happen. That's not something that's going to happen. And Ray was like, why? He was like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. I got a call, and we're not going to play with it, right? And I don't know how much back and forth Ray gave him, but he said Ray was like, all right, he understood, and he changed the name to Only Built for Cuban Links. And that's how we got Only Built for Cuban Links and the Purple Tape and all that. We almost had an album called Wu Gambinos, and in the future he ended up doing a song called Wu Gambinos. But he didn't name the album that. So I guess I probably wouldn't even have done the song. But he did the song, and I guess that was okay rather than naming the album. But I'm surprised that song, if he still did the song anyway, I'm surprised that didn't spark some type of, drama or what have you. But it happened, and it is what it is. But that's kind of crazy that a family so engulfed and so secretive and so just buried in crime culture would actually command and demand that Loud Records do not release an album with the title with their name in it. That's crazy. I wouldn't even think they would have cared about that, but apparently they cared about it enough. I don't know why they cared. I don't know if they didn't want light being shed on their name, or I don't know if they didn't want these black kids running around talking about Gambinos. I don't know what the problem was, but it sounded like they wasn't feeling it. They didn't want it to be twisted into whatever that was, because people have been saying Gambinos forever, right? So I don't know. They've been saying it, but they really, I don't think of anyone has named their album that. So I don't know if they didn't want to. Just like Wu itself, the word Wu-Tang, that's a whole different. We associate Wu-Tang with the rap group, but that's not a rap group. So once they started calling themselves Wu-Tang, they co-opted that name, and now it's synonymous with rap and hip hop and ODB and RZA and Method Man. But that's not where that comes from, right? That's some ancient Asian type of. That's a whole culture that has, you know what I'm saying? That's come from Kung Fu and all that kind of stuff, right? So once Wu-Tang started running with it, we don't even look at the original thing that it came from. So maybe they was protecting it like, we don't want everybody running around talking about they Gambinos, they Gambinos. I'm a Gambino, I'm a Wu Gambino. It'll dilute their name. Even though the mob, as it used to be, doesn't exist like that anymore. But their family still has to run, they still got family members that's running around to this day that's trying to, eat and survive, whatever. So maybe they didn't want to co-opt their name all up and through the ghetto, people running around talking about Wu Gambinos, because Only Built for Cuban Links is a classic, right? And it is synonymous. It is very, very hood, right? So maybe they would have ran with it, and a lot of people would have started walking around with these shirts on, Wu Gambino. Maybe they saw that it was going to go somewhere that they ain't wanted to go. And I would hate to think of what might have happened had they actually did that. Yeah, it's not saying that Ray and them no punks or whatever, but when these dudes come up with a vendetta, they're going to keep coming till they end it, right? And Steve Rifkin said he wasn't trying to find out what was going to happen because he wasn't going to let it happen. He said, I'm not. Vlad was like, what would you think would have happened had you went on and put that record out anyway? He was like, I don't know what would happen because I wasn't going to ever do it. It would have never happened. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. How would that have been? Wu Gambinos, the whole album. We wouldn't have had no Only Built for Cuban Links. That's the only problem I see with it. I see, like, I wouldn't have cared what the title was. But Only Built for Cuban Links is such a creative, a whole different animal. And not only that, that's the album that Steve Rifkin gave him $500,000, and he gave Ghostface half of it. It was his solo album, and he gave half to Ghost. So Ray took half and gave half to Ghost. That's why they both on there. He's like, nah, you my man, you gonna eat. And he gave it to him, and that's why Ghost is all over that album. Them dudes is brothers for real. That's why the story seems so far-fetched, them shooting at each other, shooting up each other's house. It sounded a little bit more, I need more clarity on some of this stuff on that show, right? Some of this stuff on that show a little bit far-fetched, bro. I'm like, we don't see. I don't know, man. I don't know if these dudes actually was on site whipping out guns on each other. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit far-fetched. Some of that stuff is made for TV, bro. Some of that stuff you can't, just take it with a grain of salt. Most of it is real, but some of that stuff is a little spice. They add a little spice to it. So I don't know, till I get confirmation that these dudes were shooting up each other's house and, you know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff, yeah, okay, Ray caught a straight bullet in the leg. Okay, I can believe that. I just can't believe they went and shot this man's house up, and they on tour rapping together after that. But, you let me know in the comments what you think. Would this been a better title or worse title? Do we need Only Built for Cuban Links? Would we have been okay with all the music being the same, no matter what the title was? Should he have ran with Wu Gambinos and said, man, I ain't tripping off no mobsters? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he should. I think he did the right thing, and I love what we got. But you let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG.com's Force Multipliers is out. I just dropped that with my man, Ugly Professor. He did all the beats. I did the verses, and I didn't even care, bro. I just went in on that. I need you to check that out. Go on your Spotify, your Apple, your Deezer, your Napster, your Tidal, whatever. Go check that music out. It's on Dat Piff, Bandcamp, everywhere. Challz and the Ugly Professor, Force Multipliers, all right? I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.